And what I'm going to ask you to do is to talk with me first about the strengths of the school district, the challenges of the school district. That will be kind of the context. And then within that context, to get you to talk to me, essentially I'm going to ask you talk to me about the expertise and experience the next director should have. What should be their personal attributes? And what should be their administrative style? And then finally I'm going to ask you, why would somebody want to come and be a part of this school district? What would be the attraction to somebody to come? Because a lot of times people don't, a lot of times the best candidates don't apply for the job. And they're happy where they are, they're successful where they are, and so part of the recruitment process, once the profile is developed, is to tell people why this is such a great place to come and live and work. Then the final thing is, if you got a little piece of paper you want to hand me with somebody's name on it that you think might fit the profile that we've talked about, please do that. Now again, I apologize for being late. I will stay. They kind of scheduled the first two sessions a little too close together, but I don't have a session scheduled next hour, so I can stay beyond the 10 to 11 time frame that we talked about. So if you want to stay later, I'll stay later with you. And if you'd like to use a microphone, there's one there that you can grab. I think we're a small enough group. Better use the mic. Okay, I'll use the mic. And if you'd like to use the mic, please do the same. Any questions so far? Here we go. Who can tell me, to start the conversation, what one strength of the school district is? Yes, sir.
I think it's teachers.
The teachers. Okay. Ma'am. Principals. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Support, professional development, those sort of things.
Professional development?
Teachers and principals.
Okay. And let me interrupt myself here for a second. I told you about me, but I don't know who you all are. I met a couple of these gentlemen down here, and they told me what they do. Can you tell me how many of you are parents of children in the school district? Okay, thank you. How many are staff members of the school district? Okay, and those of you who are staff members, how many are teachers, principals, central office administrators? Okay, great. Community people? Thank you. Anybody else I left out? Any students here? No? Okay. All right. That gives me a sense of what the group is composed of. So, professional development, principals, teachers. Yes, sir.
I would say a district leadership.
District leadership?
Yes.
Start using some abbreviations, ma'am. The diversity of the district. Okay. Support of the city and the diversity. Yes, ma'am.
Business partnership.
Ma'am.
We have a lot of good resources available within the district. We have cluster support teams, so we have resources like social workers, behavior specialists, we have good social emotional learning departments. So I think we have a lot of non-academic resources to support our students as well.
So support services in the district. Support services. Yes, ma'am.
To your point, I was just going to say that with the district leadership, that just the leadership has been supportive of social and emotional learning district-wide.
Okay. use my abbreviation here. I'll know what that means when I. And by the way, I'll tell you what I'm going to do with all this. We're having 35 meetings like this today, tomorrow, and Thursday, and we have some openings on the schedule. So if you know some people that need to, they don't know about some of the other meetings, we could fit them in. So then we compile everything that we've heard, and we identify only by groups. We don't identify individual comments. So we don't put names attached to the comments. And then we look at what themes seem to be occurring across different kinds of groups, because we're talking to students and teachers and parents and business people and administrators, all kinds of people over the 3 days. And we develop what's called a profile. And then we provide that profile for the board, and it's a draft. And then the board actually shapes the profile the way they want it, because ultimately it's their responsibility as elected officials to hire the next director of schools. How many of you took the survey, the online survey? Oh, great. Okay. Was it hard? Was it painful? Anybody have difficulty with it? It's a little bit frustrating because it lists 25 competencies of effective superintendents of school or director of schools in our case, right? And you want all 25, don't you, right? But you can only have 8. And the idea is to pick the 8 that are most mission critical for the school district at this point in its history, okay? And in addition to that, you can make comments. So I hope you made comments. And there's really no limit to how much you can write. And then you can also mention the name of somebody that you think might be a good fit for the school district's position of director of schools. Okay? So we take all those survey results and we identify them again by groups. We say, well, here's what the students said, here's what the teacher said, and so on and so forth. And so when the board looks at this report, and it'll be a public report, by the way, it'll be delivered to the board on April 30th, then they can make comparisons between it among groups. And but they finalized. So all of this information I'm going to take with me, and then there's another consultant working with me. And by the way, I'll have some contact numbers before you leave, and so you can email me or text me or call me on my cell phone and tell me something that you forgot to mention or didn't feel comfortable mentioning in this group. Okay? So, back to strengths. Any more strengths in the district? So we've got real good support services for all the teachers and administrators, particularly principals were mentioned, but district leadership, and particularly the way they were paying attention to social emotional learning. Professional development is good for both teachers and principals. Diversity of the school district, the support of the city, and the business partnerships. Yes, sir.
The use of DAP of all of our students to make the best choices and ensure the student growth and achievement.
Okay, so good data decisions to help with achievement. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Say the working conditions of employees, along with climate, overall climate in the district, and are promoting a positive climate in the district for all employees.
Okay. So working conditions, overall climate in the district. Yes, ma'am. Can you give me an example of what you mean by progressive? You mean innovative kind of things?
Right, we're not stuck in the, traditional teachers stand, students sit, be quiet. I think there are some really interesting innovations that we're doing, things we're doing with business partners, getting them involved with the school, using technology
So, innovations, particularly you mentioned technology and teaming. So I'm going to make sure I write that down. Okay. Well, we're all out of paper, so that's the end of the strengths, right? No. Okay. Some more strengths? Seriously, we can go beyond one sheet. That's fine.
Someone who uses a collaborative approach, that a collaborative approach in working with anyone that doesn't come into it with.
So you're jumping ahead of, just a little bit, so if you can hold that thought. We're talking about the strengths first. Now we're going to move to the challenges. Then we're going to say, given that context, what are the attributes of the leader? And so then you need to come back. I'll remember that we'll put collaborative approach there on the first on that list. Other strengths you want to mention? That's a good list. I mean, you've got really good, effective staff. You've got a diverse student body. And I assume that you mean by that is that that's taken into consideration when planning for students' needs. It's a list about data-driven decision-making for student achievement, good working conditions. How about some of the challenges?
Well, because we're a large district, there are many, many schools, and it's sometimes difficult to get continuity for the same thing, because there's so many students, there's so many employees. So sometimes things take a little while longer because there's so many people.
So back to, you were talking about innovations. So those innovations, sometimes it takes a while to get to all the schools.
To get to everywhere, right.
Yeah, okay. And, okay. Yes.
To add to that, because we're so large, just a sense of connectivity or connectedness across the district, to feel that everyone is on the same page, that everyone understands what the big mission is, and feel a part of it.
So can I call that a sense of unity in the district because of the size?
Because the district is so large.
It's hard to get that sense
for
of unity.
individual employees, often, I think it's the nature of education anyway. You often feel isolated in your own classroom.
Oh, okay.
Much less even within your own school, but to feel that you are a part of something much, much bigger in a district this size, that what you are doing, that what individual employees are doing does make a difference, and is connected to what's happening all over the city.
Yeah. Okay, so the whole idea of connectedness is hard sometimes for individuals to grasp from their own classroom, seeing their connection to the whole.
Yeah, I would say you have some schools that are significantly under-enrolled, while there are other schools that are over-enrolled, depending on the location of the district.
Okay, so
Overcapacity.
so utilizing capacity varies from school to school.
Perhaps, yeah.
Is it? Yeah. So under-enrolled and over-enrolled, and they're under-enrolled because there aren't that many children close by?
Yes, or their families are making other choices, charter school, private school, et cetera.
Okay. So I'm just going to put down uneven enrollment versus capacity.
There's a static population that is disconnected from expectations for.
So there is a static population that senses,
That are
that
disconnected
feel
from-
disconnected.
They feel or are disconnected
Okay.
from expectations for learning and development.
Just, and just for my own enlightenment, can you be a little more specific?
So one of the challenges the district has.
Can you hear him?
There you go. So one of the challenges the district has is getting parents to be on the same sheet of music with principals and teachers in terms of homework and things of that nature. But there are some, again, there's a population that has been in the district for some time. We can look at it the last 10, 15 years or more, and this has been a constant problem. That's one of the challenges.
All right, good, thanks. Okay, so, yes, ma'am.
So with being a large school district, we do have, communication can be challenging
Mhm.
with so many different departments. And then we also have a discipline disparity within our district.
How does that discipline disparity show up?
So we actually are working with Annenberg and looking at our discipline disparity. So we're looking at the data within our schools and noticing that, we have 46% of our district is African American and 70, I think in the 70 percentile range, the discipline are the African American students.
Okay, so disproportionate discipline data.
Racial disparity.
Racial disparity, okay. Thank you.
I think diversity would be on both strengths and challenges, just the number of languages spoken in this district,
Okay.
particularly in South Nashville. I think we've made incredible leaps in recent years, but I think it's going to be a challenge for the next phase.
Okay.
What's challenging could be some of the schools are very overcrowded. There's nothing there for the students to probably engage in, far as history-wise of knowing their character about themselves. Just challenging to have a school that's just overcrowded. Period. It's hard on a principal.
So some of the schools are overcrowded.
Well, I know in my cluster,
Okay.